This is Kristen. I'm the founder of Roots of Radiance Reiki, a holy fire Reiki master teacher, certified spiritual life coach, and today I am here to offer you some healing guidance and wisdom and some healing experiences around the full moon that's happening on May 15th / May 16th. This is a full moon in Scorpio. There will also be a total lunar eclipse. So what this means is that the energies of this full moon that is taking place in Scorpio on May 15th, in conjunction with this total lunar eclipse, there's going to be a lot of amplified energies during this time. So the sun is in Taurus, which means that this full moon is in Scorpio, right? The signs that are kind of opposite each other on the kind of wheel of the 12 zodiac signs. And so in a way, these two signs kind of like almost like yin and yang each other, right? They complement each other and also push each other on their growth edges, right? I am a Taurus, and actually my birthday is on May 15th, so I will probably be feeling these energies really strongly. Taurus is a sign, it's an earth sign, it's a fixed sign, it's ruled by Venus. It is very much rooted in material pleasure, right? It is a sign associated with like finances, with home, with like our material luxury, what makes us feel good, right? Taurus can also be a very stubborn sign, right? It's a fixed sign, very stuck in its ways. It's also a very young sign, so to speak, right? If we think of Aries as kind of the first sign in the zodiac, kind of kick-starting this like rebirth cycle, Taurus is the second sign, the next sign right after Aries. And so in a way it is, I want to say like a young earth sign, right? Fixed in its ways, stubborn, really focused on kind of like tangible pleasures, not to negate or say anything that's wrong with that, right? But when we think of like almost the evolution of these earth signs, right, we go Taurus and then Virgo and then Capricorn, right? With each kind of iteration of sign, there is like kind of like a leveling up, like a growth edge, right? Scorpio, right? Scorpio is the last of the water signs on the cycle, right? Oh, no, it's not. It's the middle one. Pisces is the last one. So Scorpio is a water sign, right? Scorpio is, I believe, also a fixed sign. Let me think here. Ooh. Yep. Okay. Also a fixed sign. Regardless though, Scorpio often is associated with like depths, right? Going deep, the shadows. What are we avoiding? What are we trying to not look at? What have we left unattended? What have we tried to bury, right? What has been left forgotten, right? Scorpio invites us to face these things, to look at these things, to find comfort in the depths, right? Even the symbol of it, right? A scorpion, right? Scorpions, right, they have a reputation for being deadly, right, their sting. And yet in certain healing traditions, that scorpion venom, that toxin, can also be used as medicine in the right circumstance. And so there's this kind of energy of like medicine that stings, right? Medicine that, healing that doesn't necessarily feel good, right? It's not all sunshine and rainbows, right? We're in the shadow. We're in that dark night of the soul. And so this full moon that's happening in Scorpio on May 15th with a full lunar eclipse is going to really shake us up. It's going to really, really invite us to look at that which we've been avoiding. It's going to invite us to come back into relationship with that which we've left hidden in the depths of us, that which we've forgotten about deep down inside of us. And especially these two signs together, right? Where like, because the sun is in Taurus while the moon is full in Scorpio, there's also this added like benefit, so to speak, right? Where like the medicine of that solar aspect of Taurus, right? The finding pleasure in physical material goodness, right? The finding joy in simple pleasures, right? The taste of a strawberry, the feel of the sun on our skin, the sound of the wind and leaves. Anchoring into those simple pleasures may just be the medicine that helps us move through the depths that we're being asked to face. I pulled a couple cards before I started here. One from this Work Your Light deck, and then one from the Light Seers tarot deck. I think they're really poignant for all of what I've been saying, right? So the one from the Light Seers deck, initiation, right? Initiation, this says on here, rite of passage, crossing the threshold. In many ways, I feel like this is very much what this eclipse season, what this eclipse, what this full moon is asking of us, is inviting us into, right? Is an initiation, a rite of passage, right? Oftentimes, rites of passage and initiations, they aren't like beautiful from the outside, right? Like look at this card, right? There is a kind of foreboding, a scariness, there's like some trepidation. It's like we're not necessarily like running to line up for the initiation. And yet when the initiation comes for us, it is at a sacred time. It is at a time when we are being invited to level up, to go deeper, to go further, to reclaim more of ourselves and our power, to reclaim more of our divine right, so to speak. I feel moved to kind of read some of what the actual book says. It says, initiations require that we cross the threshold from one world or state of being to the next. We are called to face what scares us and to have to be willing to lose it all in order to gain a new way of being, of safety, of security, of depth, of meaning. And I want to say that part again, right? We are called to face what scares us and have to be willing to lose it all in order to gain a new way of being. I think that feels like it sums up what this full moon is asking of us, right? It is asking us to be willing to lose it all in order to gain more than we could ever imagine. Because the other card that I pulled, Ace of Wands, right? Ace of Wands. There is a new life force, a new creative force, a new fiery present being born within each of us as we choose to cross the threshold and move back into relationship with the sacred, into the sacred that lives within us, into the sacred that lives around us and in all other living things. We are essentially what these two cards really feel like they're saying to me is that this moon is asking us to cross the threshold, to face what scares us, to go deep and look at the shadows so that we can create something new, a world we've been dreaming of and longing for, right? A world that is rooted in the principles of love and unity and balance and collaboration, cooperation, right? We can create this. We can create this. Actually, I believe that many of us were called to incarnate at this time for this very purpose, right? For the purpose of creating a new world. But it requires us to face the shadows. It requires us to heal that which has been left untended. Yeah, so get ready, I guess, is kind of the message that feels like it wants to come through. We are being asked to heal at deeper levels than ever before, but we are being promised rewards that we can barely even fathom, right? Yeah, it feels like in many ways, this eclipse is inviting us to cross a threshold into a new way of being, into a new world. And yet we're not given the foresight to know exactly what's going to happen. We have to just trust and surrender that saying yes to the initiation, saying yes to our own healing, saying yes to looking at the shadow, grappling with the shadow, dancing with the shadow, sitting with the shadow. We have to trust that action is going to move us forward into this Ace of Wands energy, right? Into the brand new creative fiery potential that exists, right? Because part of Ace of Wands, it's potential that has not yet been harnessed, right? It's the very beginning. It's that rebirth cycle. And so in many ways, what is happening right now, right, is cycles are ending, cycles are closing, right? Cycles are coming to an end, and we are being asked to step forward, to move through the threshold, to walk through the door and claim what is ours, claim the divinity that is ours, the power that is ours, the autonomy that is ours, the sovereignty that is ours, right? For too long, I think that we've been kind of like trapped in this false reality that tells us that we are powerless, that we need to look outside of ourselves to gain authority, to gain power, to gain wisdom, to gain anything, right? To gain status. We need to focus our energy outward, right? That's what's been, right? That's what is, in a way, I think we're breaking free of, right? Now, right, we're being asked to look within, right? To look within for ways of knowing, to look within for truth, to look within for authority, to look within for answers, right? And not like in a like selfish, like I'm not listening to anyone kind of way, but in a like deeply aligned, intuitive, self-trusting, like guided from above kind of way, right? Like, yeah, it is definitely a time to reclaim our relationship with the sacred, with ourselves, with divine powers that live and work and move all around us. And truthfully, I think the astrology is here to support us, right? The planets are aligning in such ways to help us do this, right? Like, this isn't just like, oh, like how, like a coincidence kind of thing, right? Like, this is like divinely aligned and planned. Like, we're here right now for a reason. We answered the call and we're here. We're preparing to cross a threshold, and we're doing this in the perfect time for us, right? Like, I wanna kind of add an asterisk here that, like, even for myself, it's easy for me to look at all the healing work I've done, to look at all the kind of like rites of passage or thresholds that I have said yes to, crossed through, the work that I've done, and to kind of like belittle it and be like, oh, like that doesn't count because I'm not like there yet. I haven't like made it, or whatever that means to us. And I want to just like hold that, like, this healing isn't necessarily about like arriving at a particular destination, although that can be really great. This rite of passage, initiation, again, right, like not about arriving at a specific place, but about reattuning our energy so that when we exist in this place, in this time, right now, we are more aligned with our highest self, more aligned with divine creative life force, more aligned with the energy of abundance, more aligned with our ancestors, right? With ancient wisdom that lives in our blood, in our bones, in the earth, in the rocks, in the trees, right? This is, to me, like about like reattuning to a different way of being in this world, right? Because like, as some of my teachers have reminded me, we are human beings, not human doings, right? We're human beings. And so a lot of what this work, right, this work of healing, dancing with our shadows, right, like this is about recalibrating our beingness, right, how we exist in the world from day to day, from moment to moment, right? It's not about like, I'm gonna do this so that I can achieve this thing. That feels still really rooted in like the ego stuff, right? Ego wants to be powerful or be like respected and seen as a, you know, authority and whatnot. And that's great, right? There's nothing wrong with that. As a Capricorn rising, like totally vibe with that kind of like leadership, authority energy. And yet, right, when we're talking about this healing work, it feels like we do a disservice to the energy and to ourselves and to the cosmos when we see it only as a means to an end, right? When we see it as only a way to achieve some kind of like legacy or glory, right? Rather than seeing it as a way to like recalibrate is the word that's coming through, but like re-attune ourselves to the energy of love, right? Of like source, right? The energy, vital life force, energy that flows through us so that we can live with greater unity and harmony, right? And I also say too that like, you know, the words unity and harmony and love sometimes can trigger this like, oh, that's like utopian, right? Like that's like unachievable, right? It's like a nice like pipe dream, but it's not like actualizable, right? And I want to just name that like those are some of the false kind of narratives, false stories, and false beliefs that I think we're being asked to grapple with, work with, let go, right? Because we need to believe that we live in a world with enough love for all of us, right? We need to believe that we live in a world where unity actually benefits us all, right? Or a world where like harmony is the way, you know? And I want to say, like, I look to nature for my inspiration on these things. And so when we're talking about like harmony or unity, right? Even this full moon lunar eclipse that is occurring on May 15th, right? It is an example of the way that like planets can align in this like unified way to create lasting change, right? Where like, how fantastic is it, right? That first of all, we have a moon that orbits around our planet, right? Creating tides and constantly changing, right? There's a constant rhythm and change to the moon cycles, right? That to me feels like harmony, an example of harmony in the universe. It feels like an example of balance in the universe, right? It's not like constantly bright and full, right? It's constantly changing. And that to me is what balance is, right? It's the invitation, part of this rite of passage, right? Part of what we're being asked to relearn is how to dance with change, to be in relationship with change, to feel safe within change. Because in the world that I was raised in, right, within the United States, within Western society, within capitalism, colonialism, right, control has been how we have lived. That's how we've been taught to gain power, to gain authority, to survive, right? We control our environment, whether that's how we landscape, we control our bodies by forcing ourselves to eat certain things and fit into certain size clothing, right? We control each other, right? We work in spaces where we're constantly controlled by different levels of people. Control is inherently built into this system, and yet it's flawed. It's like a flawed system because control is not ours to have. Control is not ours to have, right? And so, like, it's no wonder, right, that things feel so much when being in control is how we generate feelings of safety. Because if the only way for us to feel safe is to be in control, we won't really feel safe a lot because there is actually not that much, like on a large scale, that's in our control. And so I think there's an invitation, right, to release some of that tight, gripping, controlling energy and to move towards a more supple, kind of soft holding, like, again, I'm seeing kind of the way that water can impact Earth, right? So when we're talking about like Taurus, right? Bull, stubborn, rocks, Earth, unlike bending, mountain, right? Energy. Water can soften that, right? Water can create new ways, caverns, right? Valleys. And so there is this invitation with that watery sign of Scorpio to soften, to embrace how softness right, can create new ways, right? I'm thinking of the quote from Bruce Lee, to be like water, right? It can flow, it can crash, it grows to fit the container it's in, right? Water can bring softness to the control that we've been taught to seek, right? I know that for me, so much of my healing journey has been around surrendering, letting go. Some of the first imagery that really came to me when I first was starting to work with Reiki and first starting to work with meditation was the image of me relentlessly trying to hold on to the shore of like a bank of a river while the river's trying to pull me somewhere, but I'm like stubbornly holding on, but with all my life and all my energy, and I'm using all of my energy and attention to hold on. And the message just kept coming, like, let go, surrender, let go, surrender. And eventually I did, right? Like I did in many like ways in life. And then all of a sudden, the current that I was scared to surrender to brought me exactly what I needed, right? Whether that was people or situations or classes or workshops or friends or books or podcasts, the surrendering brought me what I needed, right? And then the other image that came up a lot too was like, okay, so I've surrendered, I'm flowing, but then all of a sudden I change my mind and I try to paddle against the current. And so I'm using all my energy to try to paddle upstream when I would live a life of ease if I could just flow with the currents of life. So I say all that to say there really is an invitation right now to surrender. And to surrender in a way that also like has some like action, right? Where it's like we're crossing the threshold, we're taking the action to cross the threshold, but we're surrendering our expectations, right? We're maybe surrendering the outcome a little bit. So I don't want to like, I don't want you to leave with like, I'll just like kind of like lay back and do nothing and everything will happen. And at the same time, like, I wouldn't hate if you walked away with that. But what I do really want to say is that like we're being invited to cross a threshold, and that in order to do so, we do need to surrender. And new energy is coming through that we can access to create new things, whatever we've been longing to do, whatever we've been dreaming of, whatever we've been saying that we wish that we could just, right? Why don't we just do it now? And so I think there's an invitation to also surrender that like whenever we start acting is the perfect time, right? I think that this is true for me too, that like sometimes I'm like, I just want to wait till the timing is perfect. But truthfully, like the timing may never be perfect. And so whenever you start is the perfect time. Okay. So I've said a lot. The energies are going to be really intense. So I just encourage you to be easy with yourself. Take some time to kind of like reflect. If you can do any physical shedding or letting go, whether that is like physical stuff, maybe you want to like do a little purge of your clothing. Maybe you want to like do a little reorganizing of your physical space. And as always, like if you can get out into nature, if you can sit next to water, if you can be in the presence of these large bodies of water, their medicine will speak through. All right, friends, well, I've said a lot. Let's go ahead and bring some movement into our body. We're going to switch and transition towards more of a healing experience. Just to integrate these energies and to open up to receiving any messages that may be here for us, and also to just like open us to crossing that threshold, whatever that looks like for us. Okay, friends. So feel free to lay down for this experience if you feel called. If you can sit somewhere where you're held, that allows you to have a little bit more of that kind of surrender energy. I totally encourage that. If not, you are perfectly fine wherever you are. Let's go ahead and let our eyes come to a close if that feels comfortable, or just hold a soft gaze. We're going to start breathing in and just letting our breath bring us back to our body here. Inviting air into our body and letting it out. Inviting that breath all the way down to our bellies and releasing it. One more big breath here, breathing into our back bodies and release it. Continue to breathe at your own pace and rhythm here. And from this place, I'll invite the Holy Fire Reiki to channel in and work with each of us now. Imagine that a beam of Holy Fire Reiki, golden white light, shimmering with pinks and purples, begins to flow down from above. Flows down all the way to the crown of your head and begins to flow in through the crown of your head. This Reiki flows in through the crown of your head, fills your entire skull, softening your forehead, your eyes, softening your jaw. Feel your tongue maybe drop to the bottom of your mouth. Releasing any tension you have around your eyes. Inviting that Reiki to continue to flow in through the crown of your head, flowing down into your throat, filling your entire throat, expanding out towards your shoulders, bringing softness there, stretching across your chest. The Reiki flows down your arms, all the way to your fingertips. Breathe here, feeling the energy build within you. Feeling the energy soften and release. Feel that Reiki energy flow in through the crown of your head, in through the crown of your head. The Reiki flows down your back body, down the back of your skull, the back of your neck, down your spine, softening your shoulder blades, softening that space around your ribs and your back body, softening your low back and your hips. The Reiki flows all the way down this central spinal column of yours, reaching all the way down to the earth. You sit fully in a column of light, of Reiki light. Your entire being is held in a column of Reiki light, and it flows down the front of your body, softening your chest and your lungs, softening your belly and your side body, softening your hips and your thighs. This Reiki flows all the way down your front body, all the way to the tips of your toes. Breathe here, feeling the energy build within you, feeling your physical body soften, release, surrender, and expand. Let's take another deep breath in here, allowing the Reiki to clear our energy one last time. Go ahead and place your hands on your heart or in your lap here. We'll bow gently, sending gratitude and love to the Holy Fire Reiki for accompanying us on this journey. Thank you, Reiki, for your healing wisdom and guidance. I release you now. Still bowing here, I invite you to bow to your own heart, your greatest teacher. And welcome yourself. thank yourself for taking this time today. Go ahead and blink some light back into your eyes. Coming to gaze around your space to help land back in this physical time and space. Maybe bring some movement into your body. Maybe giving yourself some gentle squeezes. I want to thank you so much for moving through that experience with me. If you'd like to learn more about how to work with Reiki for your own self-healing, please reach out to me. I'll put my email address below and also a link to schedule a call with me, a discovery call where we can talk about how energy work might be able to support you on your power reclamation journey, on your self-empowerment journey. Again, this has been a Reiki healing experience for the full moon that is occurring in Scorpio. We are reminded that there is an initiation taking place, a rite of passage to cross the threshold. And we're also reminded that through doing this, new energy is being channeled in through us and to us, and that new creative potential is available to us, and that we have an opportunity to recreate the world as we know it. So, say yes to your healing, say yes to your rite of passage, face that which is scary, and embrace all that can come from letting go of the old and stepping into the new. I love you so much, my friends. May we all live fully resourced with love, joy, and abundance in our hearts. Bye now.